This is MRM's Marketing Minute.
Now, just start by saying the purpose of almost every business, and every business represented here, I'm sure you'll agree, is to make money. As we speak, there are CEOs and CFOs all over the world taking the salami slicer to the budget and going, whoops, you know, there goes the fleet of company cars, there goes the social media budget.
Show me the money!
When corporate executives ask you about ROI with respect to social media, they're not really interested in how many likes you've got on your Facebook page, or how many times you've been retweeted, or how many people have downloaded your YouTube video, or, you know, or how many eyeballs your websites have. I mean, they're simply motivated by one thing. They want to know how the spend on social media will benefit them so that they can justify that expense in the next round of budget setting.
What did he just say?
He said there's a storm coming.
Right, what is ROI, return on investment? It's actually an equation.
Logical.
And that equation there, which is x minus y over x, where x is the financial value and y is your the final value, and y is your starting value. That's basically the simple equation, the simple maths of ROI. And to do it with carrots, you start off with 5 carrots, you know, and you create 20 carrots. Take away the 5 carrots and you've got 15. Divide that by the original amount, and the answer you get is 3, or 300%.
Why do I love carrots anyway? There isn't much meat on them. They're kind of dry too. But I love them. I love them. I love them.
Doing social media isn't free. I mean, this is the issue. Anyone who tells you it's free is wrong. They're not taking account of the head count, or the computers, or the smartphones, or the software licenses, or the bandwidth, or the training, or the content creation, or the post-it notes, or the sick leave, or any of that sort of stuff that's associated with the head count and the time. So there's 2 sorts of outcomes, I should say, right away that you can get from social media activity. There's financial outcomes and there's non-financial outcomes. They're both important, and I just want to briefly sort of go through the difference between the 2. So I'm going to show you how to demonstrate both the non-financial benefits and the financial benefits. So moving on to a question that I get asked a lot is, what can the R and ROI look like? So I'm just going to show you a few case studies, and these are related to social media. So this guy is called Gary Vaynerchuk, and he famously told the New York Times last year that he got more customers during one particular campaign from Twitter activity, which had no budget line, and he said didn't cost him anything, although it did obviously cost him in time. But he got more customers through that than he did through these other means. This is Petco.com, which is a pet supplier. They realised that online products that had reviews had far lower return rates so they saved on shipping, on restocking, and on customer service costs. So again, that's a financial benefit. This one is the Ford Explorer, which launched in 2009 on Facebook, and they noticed that they put lots of adverts on the internet, and some of them you clicked through to Facebook, and then you did whatever you could do on Facebook, and then you generally go to the corporate pages of the website, the marketing pages. Or there were other adverts that just sent you straight to those corporate marketing pages on the website, and they noticed that there was a 30% higher buy rate from people who'd gone via Facebook and done the great things that you could do on Facebook before they went on to the corporate site. The next slide kind of illustrates this point of where these 2 things exist in marketing. You start off with your investment, then you've got the action that you take based on that investment, so your strategy, your tactics, your campaign. There's a reaction from the public, which is all the stuff that goes on social media. It's tweets, retweets, comments, likes, downloads, all the stuff you want the public to do. Then you have these big kind of non-financial impacts that I was talking about. So you can see, hopefully, a brand awareness raising or some kind of product sentiment going up, hopefully. You know, your online reputation may have improved. You know, you may see a rise in loyalty from your customers. And then you get this financial impact, which is basically more customers spending more often. So let's look at the question that as I said, I got asked a lot. How can you demonstrate the success of social media? Well, it's actually the wrong question.
Here is the path to the dark side.
And why is it the wrong question? Because it simply depends what you wanted to do. So the answer to the question, how can you demonstrate success in your social media activity, is that it just depends what you wanted to achieve. So this is the first question you should ask yourself. What do we want to achieve, not what do we want to do? Why are we taking action, not what action do we want to take? So the various objectives you can be looking at for your kind of non-financial outcomes are the things like this. So think about the objectives first, and next ask yourself what the metrics are that you need to measure the objective that you've gone for. You've got to set intelligent, measurable goals. So to give you an example, increasing awareness of product X, whatever product X is, if it's insurance or or a pension, whatever, that's not an intelligent goal. You change that into an intelligent goal by saying by how much and in what time frame. So increase awareness of product X from 23% to 50% in a year, or by end of 2011. Your return on investment is achieving that goal. But these only get you, as I say, to the non-financial outcomes.
They've done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
These are the financial metrics you're going to be looking at. You want to, from Microsoft use this acronym here, RoI. They say basically you want to in the end be demonstrating that your social media activity is increasing the frequency of transactions with your customers, increasing your reach. So basically have your net number of customers gone up over a certain period of time, and your yield, how much are they spending, have you increased it? Now, what you've got to do to demonstrate a link between your social media activity and this sort of stuff is you've got to link the non-financial outcomes, those big ones like brand awareness, to this sort of metric. It's really difficult actually, I don't mind telling you that. And I'm going to suggest a way to do it. There's no absolute way, by the way, and it's going to be different for every organisation. And I could actually stand here for an hour taking questions from each person. I've got this outcome here, I've done this bit of social media activity, it's shown our reputation's gone up by this, but how do we actually link it to those financial results? It's going to be different in every case, so I'll give you a general starter, and really it's kind of a thought piece, this actually, as something to take away and see if you can apply to your business. So step one is you need to create a timeline of activity. And I should attribute this slide, incidentally, for the camera to a guy called Olivier Blanchard, if you want some further reading on this sort of thing. He's basically the world's kind of preeminent marketer in this area of return on investment of social media activities. So stick everything that you're doing, not just the social media stuff, stick everything that you're doing in marketing on a timeline. This is quite a crude drawing, it might look a lot nicer than this, but stick it all on a timeline. What you want to do then is input your metrics that for that little bit on the kind of the graph there with the arrows going all the way across. It was the square in the middle which kind of counted the tweets, the retweets, the stuff that's not financial, isn't financial results, but shows you something's happening. There's some reaction out there in the public. So put that on top in a nice graph. Step 3. Measure these kind of big outcomes like loyalty, trust, your reputation, in whatever way you measure those, and stick them on a timeline as well, or awareness of your brand or product. Stick that on top as well. And then, that should actually be step 4, I don't know why it says step 2. It's probably at 1 o'clock this morning, I was frantically shifting around these slides, wondering which one goes in which place. But yes, it might be sales, it might be the amount of customers you've got, it might be the amount of, it might even be, you know, the amount of sales of a particular product, or even, you know, the amount of inquiries and leads into a particular area of your business. Stick that on there, and what you get basically is this sort of thing. Unfortunately, there's no software that does this. You have to actually find your own way in your own business of putting all this data together. And what you're trying to do essentially is you're trying to show a correlation between action, then the reaction of the public, then the non-financial output or outcomes, you know, the brand awareness, the reputation, and then correlate that with whatever the needle's doing on your financial data.
But how do you know about them? Elementary, my dear Watson.
Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, you know, there's all sorts of different things that could be affecting our sales, that could be affecting, you know, the amount of new customers we've got or the amount that they're buying. You're right, you're absolutely right, and this is why it's difficult. So what the next thing you've got to do really is just find out where you think there could be a correlation, then become a detective and discount. You're not trying to prove anything, you're trying to disprove things. So you disprove all the other things that could be possibly showing that spike in sales, which correlated with a spike in social media activity. And when you've ruled out just about everything that you can, then you can go to your CEO and say, look, we think there's a return on the investment that you've put in, and we think it lies here because we did this. And that, essentially, I think, is it. So I know that's all, it all sounds terribly mathematical, and you know, if you're hoping for a speech on, you know, some exciting tactic that you could deploy on Facebook that would, you know, get loads of people talking, or some way to get a video to go spinning around the world, then I'm sorry, that wasn't it. But I think we do, you know, in this day and age, we now, where we're growing up a bit with digital technology, we do need to actually start working out what it's doing for our businesses. And we need to be able to go to CEOs of our organisations and say, it's not just about likes, you know, it's not just that we're getting love out there, you know, and everyone's, you know, digging our brand, man. This is what it's doing for the business. So that's where I think I would suggest that we should all be, where we should all be heading, and that's the start of 10.